Alright, this is the Ecoroad Es4, and I'm going to get right into it because there was essentially no unboxing or assembly portion of this video. Basically, for the unboxing, I just had to take it out of the box and put these two Allen head screws in to hold this fender on, and that was it. It even includes the tool that you need to do that. So very easy assembly, and this is quite a heavy-duty scooter. Now on Amazon's page it lists this scooter coming in at like 25 pounds, but that's not accurate. I weighed it myself and this scooter is right around 50 pounds, and it is built like an absolute tank. And I do like this folding mechanism that we got here. It takes two hands to do it, but you've got to pull this out and then lift this up. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. So you pull this locking mechanism back like this and then just kind of lift and make sure that it locks down in place. And you're good to go. And for folding it back in place, you push this forward. And this is a little bit trickier. You push this neck forward and then just let it drop, and then it locks into place with this pin right here. Very easy once you get the hang of it, but it does take a little bit of practice to get the feeling down for exactly how hard you need to push everything. And the other thing that I really like about the folding aspect of this scooter is that it's got these folding handlebars, and the way that you release them is you twist these tightening mechanisms to the counterclockwise rotation, and then when they're done, when you've loosened them as far as you can loosen them, you pull back like this, and then the handlebars drop. Same on the other side over here. When you want to put them back into place, you just pull them up, they'll lock into place, and then you just tighten the locking mechanism down by twisting it clockwise. I also like that we've got some rise on the handlebars if you choose. I like to ride with it as low as possible because when I ride a scooter, I hate that the center of gravity is up really high when you've got high handlebars, but some people might prefer it, so you just pull this quick release lever right here, and then you can lift the handlebars pretty freaking high. As I mentioned before, it is a pretty heavy duty scooter. It's built like a tank, and that gives us a lot of weight, so it does make for a very stable ride, but the downside of that is its portability is not the best. So here's the scooter in the back of my van folded up. This is not a lightweight scooter, and it is big, it is heavy, it is awkward, but this is in the back cubby of my van, and this is what you can expect for portability. It's a 800 watt motor, 1000 watt peak. It's got some suspension back here, and it's got a springy suspension in the front under this gator here. It's got some bling lights on the side here. This is our charge port. It's a 48 volt 10.4 amp hour battery, so for a scooter that's actually pretty good. We got plastic fenders front and rear here. The board is pretty big. I wear a size 11, and this is how much room one of my feet takes up. Here it is on the center of the board, set off to the side and setting sideways. So there's plenty of foot room on this scooter. And again, you've got this little footrest back here that you can use. So before I take it out on a ride, I do want to show you the app. Unfortunately, the app is kind of jank. We can at least use it to lock and unlock the bike. We see that it's connected and it's showing us our percentage of the charge. I do want to go into settings here and look at what we've got, but as you can see, everything is just kind of blanked out, and I don't know what any of this is. So the app could use some work for sure. We can use the lock function if we want to lock the scooter. I've got it unlocked now, but I'm going to just do a temporary lock. And so now we can see that the scooter is in P mode. That means locked. So if I try to take off with it, it should, yeah, it's fighting me, it's pushing back, and I can't get the scooter to move at all. I'm going to unlock it now, and as we can see now I've got it unlocked, and if I hit the throttle, it'll take off. Let's go out for a ride and see what she can do. Alright, so I normally don't start off with a hill test, but I've got a hill right here by where I'm starting, so that's what we're going to do. I know it's really difficult to tell that there's actually a hill here. That's why I'm kind of standing here in between the hill and the railroad tracks, so you can see there is definitely a hill there. The fisheye on this camera really throws hills out of the fisheye on this camera really distorts hills, and you can't always tell that you're going up a hill. But I promise you, there is a hill here. I couldn't tell you the grade on it. It's kind of steep, but not super steep. But here we go. This is our hill test. I'm starting out in level 4, and we're going to rip right up this hill and see what she's got. And yeah, it's definitely got some power in level 4. And this scooter has cruise control. I just felt it kick in. So if I let off the throttle, it's going to maintain that speed, which on this bumpy trail, I don't necessarily want cruise control. All right, so the rest of the trail from where I'm going to ride the rest of the way out is flat, and because scooters are pretty simple, the only thing I've really got to show you now are the top speed and range tests of this. So I got my phone set up over here. This is our GPS. Trust this speed, not this speed, but from what I've seen so far, it's fairly accurate within a mile per hour. But here we go. I'm going to start out in level 1. And level 1 is pretty mild. And normally I prefer to ride a scooter on like a paved trail, not this crushed bumpy limestone, but this is what we're working with today. The suspension is pretty nice, but because scooters ride top heavy, I do not like hitting bumps at high speeds on scooters. Anyway, we're at 6 miles per hour in level 1. Let's go up to level 2. And when you go up in levels, the scooter does kick in kind of hard. That's taking us up to about 12 miles per hour and 13 on the GPS. Level 3. Capping us out around 18 miles per hour on the speedometer, 19 on GPS. And level 4. Level 4 is a bit squirrely on this thing because this is a really bumpy trail and scooters are top heavy. But here we go. Looks like it's saying 25 on the built-in speedometer and 23 on GPS. GPS can lag a little bit behind, but yeah, now it's looking like 24 on GPS, 25 on the built-in speedometer. So the speedometer is fairly accurate within a mile per hour. Here's a 0 to top speed takeoff in level 4. Going to see how long it takes us to get up there. The scooter is pretty zippy, so it shouldn't take long. And I weigh 200 pounds. There it is. Because scooters are so basic, there's not a whole lot else to show except a range test. We're at 87%. I've run 2 miles so far, and I've run it pretty hard for those 2 miles. I'm going to do a little range test and see how far we can go with this 10.4 amp hour battery. But I am running out of daylight, and it's October, so it is starting to get a little cold out here. I'll go as far as I can, but yeah, we're up to 2 miles so far, down to 87%, and I've been running it really hard up to this point. I'm dropping down to level 3, and we're just going to do some basic like straight line riding and just see where we can go with this 10.4 amp hour battery. I'm going to do a brake test here, but I'm not going to lock them up because we are on loose limestone gravel, and I've got the handlebars set high, and I really don't want to go ass over apple carts on this thing, but here we go. I am going to do a kind of hard brake test. And for drum brakes, the brakes are fine. All right, so I think I found the Achilles heel of this scooter, and it's not a super big deal, but going through grass, this thing doesn't like it at all. But it did a great job on the crushed limestone, and it does an even better job on pavement, but in grass, not so much. I'm going to go right up to level 4 here, go through this grass, and as you can see, it does okay going through flat grass, but the moment we try to tackle anything uphill, it just completely peters out. And that's kind of normal for a lot of scooters, especially the ones with these skinnier tires, but it is definitely not an off-road machine. So the suspension is a little bit stiff, but it's doing a great job of soaking up the little bumps and dips that I'm hitting along this trail, and it rides pretty nice. As far as my final thoughts go on this scooter, I think the app could use some improvements, but the scooter overall is pretty good. It rides really nice and stable, and that has a lot to do with the size of the scooter and basically just how heavy it is in the bottom end. So it keeps the scooter on the ground and it rides pretty stable. I do like that the handlebars raise up so you can adjust for your height there. I'm not a guy who will ride a scooter for a really long distance, so I will most likely, when I ride this, put the handlebars all the way down. I've got them raised up here so you can see the controls up here. So it is nice that you've got the option. But overall, it's a fun scooter to ride. It's got a lot of power when you go up into level 4, almost too much power for a trail like this. But if you're going to be riding on paved trail or on pavement in the city and things like that, it's nice to have that extra oomph when you want to get around. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, but stick around till the end of the video if you want to see the results of the range test. All right, so we're at about 5 miles from where I started, and I'm going to turn around and go back. That's probably going to put about 9 miles on this because I went out about a mile down the other direction before I started this way. So it's getting a little chilly out here. It is October, and we're running out of daylight, so I'm going to wrap this thing up here pretty soon. And so far, the battery life has been pretty good because, like I said in the beginning, I ran the scooter pretty hard. All right, here we are back at the beginning of the ride. I went 7.4 miles, and those were a very hard 7.4 miles. I rode this thing really, really tough today. I did some top speed tests, hill climbing, some off-roading, and I rode the entire ride at no less than around 18 miles per hour in all of the straight shots. So we're at 52%. 47.5 for our voltage, so that checks out the voltage meter, and the percentage accuracy, and the percentage is pretty accurate with each other. Again, I weigh 200 pounds. I rode it hard, and that's where we're at for battery life.